Ladies and gentlemen, what is up? How are you all doing? We've got an interesting matchup on our hands today. I'm Jaggy, and I'm joined by Zexous.
Yeah, what's going on, everyone? I'm back for another match between Team Gun and Infinite here.
Yes, it's going to be a good one, because both teams have had a very good split thus far, and these are two teams that have had kind of mixed results in the past, but now both teams have been on a tear as of late. Gun in particular went 4-1 in their division. Their only loss coming to Explorers of Time in the last week, but that they already had first seed secured, so they were kind of rotating their players around a little bit. They lost by 2 in that match, but other than that, it's been a fairly perfect season for them. As for Infinite, they finished D3 3-2, but they secured that 3rd seed, and then they ended up getting a couple wins under their belt so far in this gauntlet. So we'll see how they do against Gun.
Very much so, and I guess we'll do a quick look at these lineups. So we already have Team Gun's lineup already on the board here with Daru, Hakim, Nico, Thomas, and Sasa.
What do you think about that?
A lot. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is pretty typical for Gun's lineups. I know there might be 1 or 2 other people that could come in. I haven't seen Daru too much coming from Gun, but I could not just be watching.
He's like their 6th man. I know Boards has been playing for them quite a bit, but he's not in the lineup today, so that could be a key piece that they are missing out on, because he's been fairly consistent so far this split. But this roster still, or this lineup in particular they're throwing out, still pretty good, still pretty solid. Nico coming in as a runner as well, risking a little bit of the, I'd say having Sasa bag and Nico run will give them more running solidity, but a little bit less bagging solidity. But yeah, I'd still think it's going to be a good lineup coming out from them. And then looking at Infinites, do you have that pulled up? I don't have it.
I do not currently. I'm just kind of waiting for it to switch, but still going on with Gun's lineup. There's just a lot of front runner presence coming from that lineup with, Nico, Hakim, and Thomas as well. But going into Infinite's lineup, we're looking at Barry, Dan, Nact, No, and Dermo.
What do you think?
Oh, that's so I don't really. And as far as front run presence comes, I'm expecting Gun to be more of the ones up there contesting. But seeing from IF, I'm going to be predicting Barry to be up there quite a lot with Nico and Hakim and Thomas. But I expect Barry to be up there quite a bit, and potentially Nact and Snow as well. Snow, one of the newer players who recently went from playing Mogies to Wars more often. So
yeah, he's been breaking out, exactly, and he's been actually one of their key pieces to this side. Maybe not one of their strongest runners, but he's been very good in terms of like all around play. He's up there at times, but then when he's in the pack, does a very good job of keeping his spot and giving his teammates a break. And Knack will have to be huge today, I'd say, because this Gun side is still very strong, even without the presence of Boards. So both of those 2 players, Barry and Knack, are going to have to stay up there quite a lot, I'd say, if Infinite will have success today. But one calling card they do have is Dermo, actually. He went from like a slightly above average bagger to a actually pretty good bagger this split. I've bagged against him, and he's no slouch. He knows the strats, fairly consistent at the strats too. You don't see him failing too much, and he's actually not a bad bagger. So I'd say in the bagging department, I'd give him the edge over Sasa. So that could be a factor.
I have to agree with you there. Actually, I've seen Dermo bag as of recent, and he's been really killing it in that department. So I expect him to actually be able to edge out Sasa for the most part, but still no disregard to Sasa anyways. She's also a great bagger herself.
Yeah, she's very experienced. She knows what she's doing. So I feel like it's gonna be somewhat even. I'd still give it to Dermo. I'd say either 7-5 or 8-4 maybe in match 1. Of course, it is a best of 3 in this round 5 match. And predictions, I'm gonna say it's going to be 2-1 Gun. I do think Infinite will take a match off, but the 2 matches that Gun will win, I feel like it'll be in somewhat dominant fashion. I feel like it's gonna be like a plus I'm gonna say, you know, I'm actually gonna take Infinite match 1 by it's gonna be a grinder, but it's gonna be plus 14, and then the matches 2 and 3, I'm gonna say Gun are gonna dominate.
I'm gonna highball this. I expect Gun to completely 2-0 IF. I think Gun is gonna have some pretty dominant races and wars. So I expect to see them, you know, plus 40s, plus 50 matches, and I think it's just gonna be a clean 2-0 for Gun if they play to their form.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, Infinite, even though they have been really consistent so far this split, for the most part, there are only 2 losses coming against teams that, I mean, they kept it close in those matches. But every once in a while, when Infinite play a team that are slightly above their skill level at the very least, they end up having these performances where they lose by like 60, 70, 80. So I think we may see at least one of those today coming out from Gun. I think at least one match will be fairly dominant for Gun. But I still think Infinite will just sneak out at least one win here. That's my opinion. But here we go. We are starting up now. Gun versus Infinite. Round 5 of Gauntlet in a best-of-3 series. This should be a fun one. So we got a 1-3-5 starting off from Gun, as they are the hosting team. They were the division above them, so that is going to be an advantage for them. They'll be able to host 2 of the matches in case it goes to a match 3. And DDR is going to be the pick for them. And,
yeah, DDR versus Koopa Cape, so...
Quick note, quick note, Monyz. Make sure you have the VOD saved, because okay, good. All right, so DDR was the pick, but it is going to be KC coming out here for Infinite. If you're Thomas here, I just say try to take the 2 boxes on the left to prevent second place from even getting one in the first place. Try to hog those boxes.
Yeah, really, just trying to take all that potential to even really like take away all those boxes from them to really just make it so they can't really do much when you just are able to, you know, get these free runs in first. Although this is KC, so I'm expecting quite a few, you know, goldens up and, you know, such like that. With a nice fib on Thomas though.
Right away. Good play from Barry.
Definitely, and really nice to get a player like Thomas out of top spots early, because he's one of those players where if he gets any room, he's gonna be able to just keep it, you know.
Right. So we still see switching over to Hakeem real fast. Actually, we see him actually dropping a bomb on Barry. Does not connect. Barry was, I think, like right next to him on his tail. A little bit of lag shield there. A star drop from Sasa allows Hakeem to get up to first, but I think Barry shares it as well. It's a really close situation here. Barry able to sneak up into first with that lag shield.
Oh, but he gets a nice snipe off of Barry though.
I was gonna say he opts not to go for the Shroomba and tries to go for the snipe instead. Bounces off the wall. A little bit fortunate there, but I like that Hakeem was adamant to get him out of a top spot regardless.
Definitely, and definitely it is going to pay off for Hakeem, as he's earned himself a little bit of a break in first right now.
Yeah. And I think he's fairly comfortable here, even with the... Actually, I think if there is a blue, he'll probably keep second at least if he doesn't get redded. Switching over to Thomas, actually, he has a golden in 7th here, and I'm interested to see if he's going to use it early, just in case there will be a shock coming in, or if he's going to hold this in case they have the shock, and use it for the double grass cuts.
Yeah, no, it looks like he's playing to actually hold it for this upcoming golden. And there's a blue coming out, though, taking out Hakeem in first.
He slows down, though, obviously, to get that boost, and he's still in second. So not too bad of a blue there for Gun's sake. We are going to see, okay, Thomas hitting the brakes there, preventing himself from getting Megaed in that case. Good reaction time there from Thomas.
But that makes you think, though, if you see Snow going into the Mega, that makes you give the idea that IF probably doesn't have it. And at that case, maybe Gun might have it at this point?
Yeah, switching over to Hakeem now. He has Shroom in second. He had used one of his last 2 Shrooms to be able to overtake second there. So it's going to be looking like a comfortable Gun top 2 here from the looks of it. And I think they may TS at the very end. They may try to TS Infinite going for cut. No shot coming in, actually. There it is.
Shot coming in, actually. Looks like someone dodged on the line, maybe.
I don't think Gun were able to overtake. Nonetheless, I think it was a 3-4-5 there for Infinite. But plays coming out left and right. We saw a fib snipe from Barry in lap 1, but he was not over. able to overtake first there. I think he might have gotten bumped slightly by the person that got sniped, or maybe Hakeem drafted up to first. So it's good work from Hakeem to be able to just dog his way up to a top spot, especially with that snipe in lap 2.
Definitely, and that snipe really making the difference for that race for a gun, because taking out Barry early, that's most of IF's front run prowess right there. And if you can really shut down Barry early, you know, it's almost a little bit easier for gun at that point, because, well, at that point when he's first and, you know, all of gun is behind you, what choice do you have at that point? So very good play coming up from Hakeem for the snipe on Barry, and then just being able to really hold those top 2 spots even after getting blued.
Certainly. And I'd like to say, my name's Fusion, and
hey,
I'm
look, I'm
Jaggy.
Hey, I'm Jaggy. I lost the T7 in Spring Split.
Okay, we don't talk about that. Nobody talks about that. No, it never happened. Nope. Yeah, that was heartbreaking to say the least. Going back to that Spring Split match between Turtle Team and Moonblast, in which Turtle Team ended up getting the edge.
Never forget.
Heartbreak.
Never forget, baby.
We are moving on now to the track pick here, which will be Waluigi Stadium. Interesting that they're only top 2 and a couple bottom spots, and they're opting to pick this instead of like a DDR. They opted to pick DDR when they're 1-3-5, but when they're actually sandwich spots in which DDR would be more beneficial, they opt to go for Stadium. So a little bit of an unorthodox track here coming out from Gun here.
Definitely, and I feel like this is definitely a lot more of something Gun is a lot more comfortable on versus this track with IF. Haven't really seen IF been picking this track too much in their recent matches, so this might be something that, you know, Gun might have a little bit of an edge on. You know, feeling comfortable. Thomas actually looking really comfortable in, you know, first right now.
Tries to go for the turn skip there, but doesn't get the trick off, so he just opted out of it. But still top 2 here. We see him back at green, and Hakeem going wide, backing at green tight. Surprisingly, none of those 2 green connected, but that was still good team play from them.
Definitely, and still being able to keep this top 2 right now. He's going to see switching over to Hakeem right now.
Let's see how well he'll be able to maintain this second. Taking good lines for the most part, takes that turn skip pretty well.
Definitely, and he's really trying to really just make the difference between him and Thomas and IF coming up
with that 1 green.
Definitely, but Snow does shroom up though, bringing him up to second right now. So
Zaru goldening up and actually bumping one of IF out of a top spot there. So now it's going to be a top 3. Hakeem could just go slow with this actually, but now Snow's ahead of him. So
might looks like what he's doing, but it actually lags past Snow, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a EU to NA lag there, unfortunately.
At that point, I think you just want to, you know, take the extra few seconds to just wait it out, let him get a little bit further, and then throw the red. And at that point,
I was actually worried about that. I'm like, is Snow gonna slow on Hakeem there? Because Hakeem is very good at this track, so I think Hakeem should be a little cognizant of that. Know that his lines are solid, so just try to take a little bit of an iffy line there so you don't get slow. And of course, hindsight's 2020. Shot comes in though. I'm trying to see who dodged, if anybody.
Not entirely sure, but that did look. I'm assuming that was an IF shot from what it looked like. It looked like Knack dodged up.
Yeah, it was Knack. Just him though. So, I mean, maybe he was forced out of that mega because it would have been more ideal to wait until the TS spot potentially. Yeah, I apologize. I completely missed it. Yeah, but yeah, Knack did dodge. I was looking at the other POV for like 2 seconds, so I apologize for that, guys. But yeah, I'm surprised that the shot came out that early. I'm thinking maybe Knack got forced out of it, and that was their only dodge in that case. And would you still have used it at the TS ramp? Would you have waited until the TS ramp if that was the only dodge?
Not entirely sure looking at, because I'm not really sure where everyone was at the minimap. If I'm thinking, if I have a dodge and, you know, those top spots going up that TS ramp are too far away, it's just not worth it in my eyes, because there's only so much you can gain in that short period of time.
But we still see a 2-3-4 coming out nonetheless. And I'm trying to see if something happened to one of Gun. I think Knack might have chained either reds or something to kill some of the top spots from Gun. So yeah, that mega dodge definitely did wonders for them, even though it was only 1 dodge from the looks of it.
Yeah, but obviously good enough to get that winning race though for IF though. So a very nice display for IF right there. Especially coming up thinking, you know, this is a track that Gun picks and Gun seems pretty comfortable on. So IF really being able to make the difference with that shock, squeezing out that winning race is, you know, definitely a good show for IF right there going into this next race.
Mm-hmm.
Opting for the RBC pick after coming a 2-3-4 race. So
yes, and I know you do know some French, from my knowledge.
limited.
Limited, but good enough to know. Yeah, you know, chateau is
Oh,
castle.
I mean, my game is French. I willingly did that.
Okay, fair, fair. Yeah, we are going to see an RBC coming out now. So far, track picks 2-1 in favor of Infinite. Let's see how well Thomas can keep his first in this scenario. He opts to take the odd line to prevent a draft coming in, and it doesn't look like anybody from IF drafted successfully. Still going to be a 2-3-4 though. Actually no, yeah, still 2-3-4 for IF. Nico is, I believe, goldening up, as well as Hakeem. So those top spots are going to be shifted once again.
Yeah, but once again, Thomas still staying in first, still taking these really clean lines. So really looking good all together for Thomas coming in here.
Switch over to Hakeem for a second here. Let's see what he pulls as one of each team takes the cut. It was Knacked for IF and Thomas for I'm sorry, not Thomas. It was somebody else from Gun. It was Daru, but he falls behind a little bit. Still going to be a top 2 for Gun here.
Yeah, and that POW coming out, Hakeem being able to drop some bananas on that banister, maybe preventing, but it looked like they might have dropped a little bit too far to the right, off center, so giving people that chance to really just go around. But Gun's sitting in a top 3 right now.
Mm-hmm. And that POW didn't really do that much. I would assume that was an IF POW. Daru backing a green tight, Hakeem going wide here, and they're double backing even further here to try to solidify even bigger of a break. Even if they don't connect with the back spams, it still slows IF down quite a bit, gets Gun a little bit more of a break.
Definitely, even just forcing people to go wide is just that much more time you're going to be getting on them.
And that's a good play right there. And Gun, when they are in top spots, they are scary with how good their chemistry is, and we just saw it right there. Fib backed slightly wide so that it forced IF even further wide, and that green just connected right into the face of Knacked. Blue comes in.
Blue coming out for Thomas, though, and if he gets Comwood here, that's going to really send him right to the back. Let's connect. See, still seeing Gun, still in top 2.
Switching over to Thomas real quick. Nico gets backed by a green, and another. Okay, so IF doing a good job in the mid spots to keep that bottom 2 in bottom 2.
Yeah, true. However, they're gonna really hope they need another blue coming out soon, though, because this. Oh, but it looks like Dario actually might have hit a banana and put him into the off-road.
I think it was that banana from lap 2 that Hakeem threw out. He threw out a nana right after the grass. You know how you do like a mini turbo wheelie and then another mini turbo?
Yeah.
Daru hit that on his wheelie attempt. So shot comes in.
Shot coming in. It's gonna TS one of IF, and Thomas is gonna get a really nice triple shrooms right here. This could take him up to maybe 4th.
Such a good pull.
Actually 3rd. Is that a top that top 3 Gun?
A little bit of a flub there from Daru, but he was able to recover nonetheless. So in the end, it did not matter. Overall, it was just solid play there from Gun throughout that entire race. Besides that nana slip.
Yeah, a very nice top 3.
Top 3.
I'm definitely impressed with how Daru is playing this so far with these the other 3 runners in the lineup. You know, playing as much as they do together. Daru is still able to contest top spots and sit there comfortably for the most part. Mm-hmm. Definitely some good play coming out of Daru in these first few races.
Certainly, and I'm interested to see what they're going to come out with here. Yeah, they are going to go with RBC, prominent top 3 track.
BCW. We already played RBC. Sorry.
BCW comes out, prominent top 3 track pick here, because all 3 boxes in the very beginning will be taken, most likely, unless Gun have a different plan and think otherwise. But for the most part, we're going to see a difficulty from IF to be able to get up to the front.
And it does end up going BCW, though, so... It'll be interesting to see how they do this, and I don't think any of IF can do the wall glitch cut, so
Not from my knowledge. I think Barry may attempt it if he really, really needs to, but I don't think any of them are super consistent at it. So this could pose a huge threat right away, especially if Tom can get it back here with the fib, does not connect. We'll see if anybody comes up here with shrooms.
definitely. And then, you know, Thomas in third is going to try and back tie. He actually manages to get someone. He's really going to try and keep this top 3 right here. Does pull a shroom though, so he's opting.
Gotta be careful with Daru. Him and Daru side by side here. Daru kind of slows down a little bit to prevent a potential bump.
He does get bumped a little bit by the baggers though, so that is going to send him.
In the end, it does.
Send him back to 4th. Dan just being able to edge him a little bit to get in the 3rd.
It's good work from Thomas not to get bumped off there, because he could have easily just tried to overcommit, be aggressive, and stay on the tight line, but then he could have easily gotten bumped off by Dan, so he just conceded the spot. Dan is in position to try to snipe the top 2 out here, but he could risk getting green himself in case one of those greens comes right back in his face, so he opts not to throw any.
That's just it, and it's really just about these trades, like how much are you willing to give just to make sure you don't fall yourself. Although Thomas sitting in 4th with a nice pair of triple shrooms though. I don't think so.
No, yeah, with this top 2-4, I mean, it's the pack's starting to break too. Look at if you look at the pool, no.
There's a blue coming out as well.
If you're gonna back a green, make sure to call that out early, because greens, if they don't connect on your opponent, they're just gonna careen back at you. It looks to me like I actually couldn't see what happened there. Was there
oh my god, everyone is just hitting everything at this last turn.
I think there might have been, well, there was a blue, but was it a POW that killed him, or was it a green attempt that somebody dropped a green and Dan ran right into that? So
yeah, and then someone dropped the fib, and then someone else ran into that.
Domino effect, which in the end it's going to result in a 3-4 for IF. So, yeah, due to that carnage, both Barry and Snow were able to grind their way up to the middle of the pack, but I still don't think it's enough. They're going to have to try to risk something here if they really do feel the need to, like go for glitch here. But if
it
not,
makes you wonder though, if Sasa has shock, I mean, all Thomas has to do is call this late. Oh, but he gets bombed! Oh, and the more domino effect. There it is.
But Barry drops a red and Snow runs into it, so lots of domino effect so far.
Oh, and there's a red coming out. Green coming back. Might be able to shock red 4th. Even if it does, though, I don't think it's going to do anything. But Thomas is going to be able to really just... Ooh, and Nico Shroom's up. Is that... Oh, bottom 2 for IF?
It looks to me like it was. Yeah, that bomb, it seemed to have been worse for IF than it was for Gun, just based off what happened afterwards.
Definitely. The thing with the domino effect is that, you know, Gun sitting in top 2, they're always going to be in top 2 because it's all happening behind them. So while 5 or 6 people get taken out by that effect, you know, the top 2 are just running for free and really gaining that break.
Yeah, this race was definitely akin to like a Daytona race for NASCAR.
Oh yeah, really though.
Yeah, so I've just started following NASCAR recently, so I wanted to make an analogy. Like if somebody spins out in the middle of the pack, it's just carnage everywhere. Like in a super speedway, if somebody slips, everyone else is gonna slip. So yeah, I just wanted to make that reference.
Just absolute carnage going. That I could just watch that all day. Like that was just a good time.
Yeah, throwback to the Daytona race right before the playoffs started. William Byron getting that win. I don't know if you follow NASCAR.
I'm more of a hockey guy.
Oh yeah, now hockey's good too. I don't blame you there. Hockey's a fun sport to watch. Very action packed.
Painfully Canadian.
I know, but you are a Ducks fan after all, which is
okay. Yeah, I cheer for the Ducks, but I mean, all I'm saying is at least we've won a cup.
I know we won in was it 2007?
I don't know what 2006 I want to say.
It was 2007. I was right.
2000. Okay.
Yeah, 2007.
The glory days.
We are both Ducks fans. So
I thought you were maybe following the path of Bubbles and was like a Sharks fan or something.
No, f the Sharks. Sorry. Sharks, Kings. That's all I
Yo,
got.
for real though, like, nah, ain't about that Kings.
No, Kings more like Queens.
That's
It's
it.
Like, it's like the Shaquille O'Neal reference. It's like, you know that one time where he's like, Sacramento Queens or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I feel about the LA.
But don't
Kings,
you
too.
live in California area though, or am I
Yeah.
completely wrong?
Yeah, I'm from the county of Orange.
Okay, so that makes sense why you're an Anaheim fan.
Yeah, Anaheim Ducks all the way.
Literal
Yeah.
Orange County. I'm the biggest simp for John Gibson. Like, oh,
Gibson, dude, one of the best goaltenders of all time.
we stand John Gibson in this call.
Yeah. But let's see here. It's going to be DDR coming out here. Once again, they are adamant to try to pick this as best as they can. And again, it goes back to race 2 when they opted to go for Waluigi instead of DDR when they were top 2 in like 6-7. So very unorthodox track pick, but if they're comfortable with it, they're comfortable with it. They can have first take Sandhop and third can kind of help first sandwich second. Like second's going to be bumped all around for the other team, so it's going to make it really hard for second place to take Sandhop, and it does come out with DDR.
Yeah, so very it's interesting to see that the 1-3 hosting team hasn't opted for a Maple Treeway yet.
Mm-hmm. We'll see. Maybe they're not as comfortable as with that track as other running tracks in particular. We'll see how well Thomas can keep his first here. We are going to see Hakeem in third. I'll pay attention to that screen as well to see what happens.
Definitely taking a really clean Sandhop, so he's going to be able to keep first. It looks like Gunn actually already coming up to top 3.
Yeah, and Hakeem took a little bit cleaner of a Sandhop than Barry did, and Barry's going to fall to a mid spot, and Hakeem drafts up, so it's going to be a clean top 2 after they both make wall glitch. And
then the rest is just easy pickings for Gunn. They're going to really...
I mean, this track definitely has some catch-up potential. You can take the Ultra here in a Golden, and heck, you can even dodge lap 2. If one team is feeling really ballsy, you can dodge in a star cut.
Oh, but there's a blue coming for Hakeem right at the end of the cut, and that might actually have pinged. Oh, looks like Thomas got away scot-free.
Yeah, and Hakeem luckily didn't get blued right in the sand. He was able to keep his speed after his release mini turbo, and he has triple shrooms in 4th. That's actually such a good pull for him. But it looks like what happened to Daru? Daru was in 3rd, but he ends up, I think, getting a really high pillar trick, either that or falling off the track.
Yeah, or maybe he even got caught in the blue.
No, it was in the cave, entering the wall glitch.
Oh, okay.
He wasn't 2nd, but then something miraculously happened to him. I'm not entirely sure what happened, but Hakeem's going to be able to take this. He's going to take the safe Ultra, loses a little bit of speed, but keeps his first.
He's able to get that last second mini turbo to really push him just out of the sand. So
yeah,
gotten back in this comfortable top 2 shot coming in though. Mm-hmm. We'll see what happens to this. Looks like dodging, but very, very far back. You see this break between the top 4 and then the rest of the pack.
Someone dodged in 4th, so 4th's going to be able to catch up to the front of the pack just a little bit, but I don't think it's enough to really sneak anything out for IF, assuming that was an IF shock, unless he maybe has triple shrooms. But it's still looking like a very comfortable top 2 for Gunn.
Definitely, maybe even if that top 2-4, if that's the looks like Daru got hit.
Yeah, unfortunate for Daru, and Barry was able to get 3rd there. I think he was the one that dodged, I believe, in a Mega there. I couldn't quite see, but assuming that a shock came that early, it had to have been an IF shock.
Yeah, it might have. I honestly, a shock like that is so hard when a pack is that split. It's almost like you need to call it sooner than later to really give yourself more time to try and get up there. But yeah, top 2-4 right there. So I guess Daru actually didn't get hit and he made it. So
yeah, maybe he got hit right on the line and he still registered as crossing the line there. So another very well played race from Gunn there. They were able to take the Sandhop very cleanly, and it's a game of inches. Barry took the Sandhop and made it, but maybe since he took a slightly wide line, he ended up having to concede that spot to Hakeem, and it was just a clean run from there for that top 2.
And that's mainly what I was saying a little bit going in before this war, is that I think Gun will be able to really edge IF just because of the running prowess that Gun has versus IF. Like, you're seeing IF, you know, Barry's up there for the most part, but the most of the time it feels like it's only Barry, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen we've seen Nact every here and then being up in the front, but in some of those exchanges, we've seen him lose the top spot from back spams and whatnot. Not faulting him, because RBC was just such a good showing from Gun, double backing, making it very hard for IF to maneuver around those corners. But it has been mainly Barry so far. And if you're IF, you wish to see a little bit more frontal presence from the rest of the pack.
Yeah, definitely, and very, very hard to really try and compete with. You know, you got like Nico, Hakeem, and like Thomas. They're always pretty much up there.
Dermo is really adamant to try to break up those top spots as best as he can. Instead of going for an item to try to break the middle of the pack, he tries to really bump a couple of Gun before, and gets bumped off by Snow there, Thomas did. But Dermo was unsuccessful in bumping some of the Gun players up there.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate though for Thomas though. Hakeem in 7th right now, chaining for maybe more shrooms, so he might actually be looking for a dodge or just something to really try and get himself back up there.
Wait, no, it's is it all run? No, I think Dermo is running actually. At first I thought he was trying to break up top spots as a bagger, but no, I think he's running altogether.
Maybe.
Yeah, he is running, because we see Thomas in 9th, goldening up in 9th, so interesting. An all run in TF. Shock comes in early from Gun. Yeah, if you have that 10th place secured, you might as well use a shock early, because you're going to get another one, most likely.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I feel like it's just IF is just kind of thinking, oh my god, we're already down about going 50 only into race 6, so we may as well try something different to really try and do what we can.
Would you try something different in a track like TF, where it's very front run heavy, and even if you're not in the front, the bagger in 10th is bound to get the shock just by chance alone.
That's just it. Maybe they figure it's a sitting track, it's okay to throw this one away.
Maybe. We see Thomas with the shock in 9th though, so we'll see what happens later on. Hakeem, of course, has that golden in 1st, so he could probably, if they plan on using the shock, Hakeem could just use the golden and just secure his 1st. Use the golden early. Pow comes in. Hakeem loses the golden though, but I still think it's going to be a very good race for Gun nonetheless. Shock comes in from Thomas. He chained into a golden. TS'd a couple of Gun in the dirt there though, but it didn't matter too much, as he was able to sneak up a lot of spots in the end.
Yeah, it looked like just a 1-3 from IF though.
Yeah, and that could be a testament to the POW usage there from IF, because the POW came in and Hakeem lost his golden, so he wasn't able to maintain his 1st in that case. And could that have been a sign that Snow actually dodged in the middle of the track, or in the middle of the pack?
Snow dodged in the bill, apparently. I didn't even see the bill.
Okay, that's the culprit. And I get the idea to chain there, because, I mean, you want to secure, like, I think Gun were trying to hit the nail there on the coffin. Instead of getting like a top 2-4, like 8-7 or 8 or 7, they were trying to get like a top 2-4-5 with Thomas coming up the rear. But as a result, they ended up dodging Snow there.
Maybe just the miscommunication coming from Gun. Maybe no one called that, you know, Snow was in a bill, or maybe they'd already committed to the shock and it was like, well, let's give her. But yeah, just unfortunate that Snow really got that bill dodge.
Track pick coming out here will end up being BC3. And this is a fairly neutral track, especially with these spots. They're very mixed. 1-3 for IF, 2-4-5 for Gun. It all depends on who pulls the shrooms and whether a team that falls behind are going to actually unblock the cut or leave it unblocked. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. And the thing with that race is that sure they placed the gamble to all run, but they only walked away with a +1 race. Unfortunately, right. So it doesn't. Yeah. Like, did he pass TC the barrier right there?
I think. Oh, and on Hakeem's screen. Okay, so Dan did not block the cut very well, So Hakeem tried to align and take the cut, but ends up getting starred by somebody that just went through the last boost panel there. And so Hakeem's not going to be able to break the plane, unfortunately, for Gun. And it's going to be a 5-6-7 for Gun early on.
And
Barry made the ultra. Barry made the ultra with the TC actually, so that's how he was able to get up to the front right before that TC connected onto him. So good work from Barry there to be able to kind of save his race, if you will.
Definitely, and yeah, Thomas getting another unfortunate TC, so he's really getting stuck back here. Just trying to golden up to the best of his abilities to really try and get up to where he can. Hopefully,
he actually had 2 shrooms and gets backed by a red and just decides to chain into a box, wastes his 2 shrooms, and now he has red, so he's going for the shroomless here. Makes it. Good work from Hakeem there.
And then yeah, also Thomas just right behind Hakeem, taking that cut up, and that moves Gun to look at 2-3-4. I'm not sure if Gun is first or not.
No, it is.
Yeah, it does look like it's Barry. So it's 2-3-4 right now, looking from Gun with Barry in first by just a little bit over Daru, it looks like. Okay, maybe not just a little bit.
And it looks to me like, yeah, Hakeem ended up redding Dan as he was shrooming up, so that 2-3-4 will be even further solidified for Gun. Oh no, Thomas, that's not what you want to see. He had a shroom there. Could have taken cut if it was unblocked, but he opts to go for the ultra. For the stream, does not make it, unfortunately.
I respect the play, but the failing at this point is just, at this point you're putting yourself further back than if you were to not go for it at all. If that
shot coming in late, dodging Thomas and a Mega.
Oh, and so gets TC on the line, so he's gonna have to give up a spot to Thomas right there.
Yeah. That was a little bit unfortunate there for Barry, assuming that was him getting blued unless he stopped. And we'll see the final results in the end.
Yeah, so we do have a nice top 2 coming up from IF coming into this race. So it's obviously going to chip down the deficit a little bit, but they're definitely going to want to be looking for something a bit bigger going into the last race of GP2.
Yeah, certainly, but that's a start for them. And
yeah, definitely
pick a track they're comfortable with. I'm not entirely sure what they'd pick. I don't have too much intel on Infinite, but I'd say worst case, you could just pick well, Casey's already off. I was going to say a sandwich track, but Casey and DDR are both already chalked off here. Okay. Moonview's not a bad option either. GV coming out for Gun here. And Gun are fairly consistent at the rock from what I know. So if you're IF, just have maybe the top 2 run. If it's GV, have top 2 run and have some of their mid spots just kind of go back for shrooms. It is MH anyway. Going into race 8, we're going to have a 39-point lead for Gun here. Still definitely feasible for IF to come back from, especially with 5 races to go. As long as they get a good race here, they'll have the momentum going into the next GP. Thomas not getting a box in the end, but just trying to stay tight to try to contest with those top spots. He opts to stay in Barry's line, and Barry does not have a fib there. If he had a fib, I would have seen him most likely back it, but looks like Thomas still wasn't able to overtake Barry and hits his trail. Bomb comes up. Everyone avoids it narrowly, but still a 2-3-4 for Gun here. Looks like actually Nico was able to overtake with most likely a draft.
Yeah, and you see Hakeem here with these triple greens trying to just edge out Barry to really knock him back, but just misses the mark. It looks like Gun is just you get Nico in first, and just looks like Thomas and but Snow Shroom's up. So but Snow was immediately put down by Hakeem's triple greens.
Yeah. It was good recovery from Thomas there as well, not to get bumped. He was able to realign and prevent himself from hitting that car dead on. It's going to be a top 2-4 for Gun.
Going into that, just look at the sheer patience that Thomas had just avoiding that lag bomb car. He predicted that the bomb car was going to get lagged, so he stopped a little bit so he wouldn't get caught in the explosion.
Yeah, certainly. And let's switch over to Hakeem real fast to see how it's looking like in the front. It's going to be a top 2 for Gun, and Hakeem is just looking to keep IF back even further. Trying to see, is he going to throw out... Okay, stream lagging a little bit. But... Blue comes... Oh, that's such a good POW if you're IF, but somehow Hakeem was able to traverse all those cars, not get flattened, or even hit for that matter. So it's still going to be first occupied for Gun. Nico's still in third after the blue.
It's actually Hakeem in first, actually.
Yeah, Hakeem in first, and it looks like Snow got TC'd, so it could look like a very grim race for IF. And Thomas dodging up last second, gets wheelie bumped by somebody. So you mentioned before that his patience was a factor, but in that case, I think he was a little too overcommitted to try to get to a top spot. Instead of getting third, he got fourth, but still a very good race for Gun.
Still a fine race. Looking at top 2-4 for Gun, looking like.
Yep.
So, like honestly, at this point in the war, you're seeing what I was talking about before. You know, Gun being able to just completely dominate IF for the most part here, really getting away for these +40s, +50 wars, and you know, with the way that Gun's playing, it's easy to see why, because their teamwork is just untouched right now for the most part.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, Barry was in first to start that race, and he pulled a Nana. Usually if you pull a Fib, you're able to just, you know, back it right away, get the other team out of a top spot. But he had a Nana, opted to hold it, and he allowed for Thomas to draft him in the end. Of course, Thomas hit the Nana, but I believe that Barry was put off by that draft a little bit, so Nico was able to overtake, and then Nico just pretty much ran away with it after that.
Yeah, and that's just it. Going into the last GP, though, it's looks pretty much a +60 deficit right now going into GP3 of the first war.
Yeah, it's starting to look a little bit bleak for IF now. And I mean, the room's looking bleak as well, as it is not starting, unfortunately.
I think what we saw in this war is that, you know, Gun is playing very well. They're consistently, you know, occupying the top spots, and when they're not, you know, they're always finding ways to get back up there. At that same time, they're doing a good job of, you know, keeping Barry back, shutting him down when they can. So IF's main runner is right now, I think he's running out of options of what he can do to try and contest, and the lack of presence that IF is, you know, giving in terms of Barry's support is not working to their best.
Yeah, and I've seen Snow up and down there. Of course, he did get a couple of there were a couple of key moments. One of them being the Bill dodge in TF. But I have not seen very much of Nak so far. I would like that to change, though, because that is somebody that you would like to see in the front contesting those top spots from Gun. So far, it's been mainly Barry, like you mentioned before. We have returned for the last GP of match 1 here. Gun with a pretty sizable lead thus far, showing their dominance for the most part in the running department. As we mentioned before, IF struggling a little bit, especially with Barry being one of the only players up there for IF in most of the races. So we'll see how IF can return fire here in this last GP. They have a mountain to climb to try to take this first match.
And with that, they really need to just really start cracking out these massive races if they want a chance to really break down this deficit.
And of course, track picks need to go your way too, because if it's a reset track, then they're gonna have to do all of the work all over again. If they get a top spot, or if they start with top spots like top 3, top 2, 4, and they get a running track, they'll be a little more comfortable. But not only will they have to grind and will they have to work, but they're gonna have to have a little bit of luck fall their way as well.
Definitely, and you know, starting on Mushroom Gorge, not a bad first pick for, well, either teams if you really think about it. It's one of those tracks that's really nice for all those split positions. So
we'll see. Yeah, I mean, shrooms. That's all I gotta say about this track. Shrooms. That's pretty much the end all be all of this track. Pull shrooms, take the gap, try to get up there. There are a couple of backspam spots that you can throw out, like banana on the first red mushroom, which is what people like to call the Jeff spot, or a banana on the second green mushroom, but that one's a little more predictable.
Definitely, but like, IF was great at Mushroom Island, so this will transfer too, right?
Barry, again, trying to get those top spots out as best as he can. That was a good Fib snipe attempt, but doesn't connect. He gets redded out by Hakeem. Top 3 now for Gun. The top 3 for Gun is not really the best place to start here. IF in position to pull shrooms in mid spots and take gap.
But not entirely terrible because you know it is the first lap going to the second lap, of course. So there's tons of room to work with. Pal coming in, and he actually manages to actually red Barry.
I think Dan failed the gap because he took the gap first before Nact. But as we see, Nact is in first, and Dan is nowhere to be found. He actually gets slagged by Hakeem in 6th with the Mega, so Dan's going to fall really far behind. And if that was him failing gap, that was a very crucial mistake at this point in time.
And Blue coming up for Nact as well, just going to move Gun into the top 2 at the moment before the cut.
Doesn't look like any of IF in 3-4 take the gap. Thomas gets Willy bumped there.
Actually, looks like Snow took the gap, so that moves him in the second.
We'll see what happens here. Snipe at 10 comes out from Nact, doesn't connect. Daru shrooming up a little bit ahead of. It looks like Snow is actually going to get comboed. Wow, that's not good.
No, and that moves Gun in the top 3.
Hakeem falls off the track in 5th actually on his screen. He had triple shrooms, but fails the shroom skip actually. So that could have been the sealer there for Gun if he had gotten up there, taken the gap, secured a top 3, actually top 4 for Gun. Now it's only a top 2, 4, 8 for Gun.
At that point, though, it's almost like sure you're risking a few spots and like it's a few points, but at this point your point deficit is so large that it almost doesn't really matter. A top 2, 4 is still a big race nonetheless, so it's really just going to move Gun further apart from Infinite.
Yeah, and I mean that gap miss from Dan lap 1 was absolutely vital. It was pivotal to the rest of the race and what happened afterward, because it could have been a comfortable top 2 for IF. And if Dan had more than 1 shroom there, I don't know if he had 1 shroom or 3 shrooms, but could have been a completely different story. Of course, Hakeem also failing in lap 3 to prevent a top 4 possibility and kind of putting a stamp on this match, but still a good race for Gun. They're going to be pulling away a little bit further. And 3 races to go, IF are running out of options.
Definitely. So you're at this point in the war. Are you just thinking about match 2 at this point, or are you just trying to take it race by race at this point?
Race by race, I'd say. I mean, it's still possible for IF. 69-point win, 69-point lead here for IF. Take that as you will. Yeah, I mean, you do you, but I'd say for IF, just try to still get something out of this, because there's still 3 races left. If you get a top 2, 4, if you get a top 3, you're right back in it.
Yeah, very true. So I guess we'll just see how it plays out. Looking at a DK Summit now, or DK.
For those of you coming in, this is match 1 currently. So if in case Infinite do drop this match, they still have time to pick it up, but it starts here for IF if they want to maybe have a chance to even scrape a match 1 victory. It starts here. They need to get a really good race. Definitely,
and so the biggest thing they need to really just try and break is this Gun's running prowess right now. They really need to try and get up there and disrupt them as best as they can.
They're spamming a shroom, I think, to get up there, but he gets bumped off from the looks of it, and Thomas gets bumped off as well. Even trade-off, but the even trade-off will most certainly favor Gun. Hakeem makes the double on his screen, but I think a couple of IF also made it. Snow and Dan up there in the top spots.
Definitely looking like kind of like an even split coming through at the top 4, top 5 of the pack right now. Hakeem
after IF.
Yeah, Hakeem having a very nice start in 5th right though, so I don't think he's going to be really looking to part with us at any point right now. Probably just looking to hold it in case Sasa pulls the shock. He's just looking to chill. He's not looking to do anything risky. Just
one of the baggers running away with the shock right now. I think whoever has it is secure, and we'll pay attention to see who that is in just a second. Holding on to it, it's going to be Sasa, I believe, holding on to the shock right now.
Very nice power dodge for Hakeem, despite being redded right on that boost panel. Still being able to keep his star. And if Sasa has shock right here, this is going to be super detrimental, but that bomb just barely missing Hakeem.
Actually, no, it was the other way around. I apologize. It was IF holding the shock there. So that is actually really detrimental. Hakeem not using his star there after cannon. It's interesting that he didn't do so, because if he used that star, it would have delayed a shock even more for IF. It looks like only Barry was able to get up to the top spots, though. So Gun still locking it down for the most part. It's all about the double here.
That looks like a very nice double for Hakeem, actually. There's a blue coming out, and he's going to throw this blue at Snow right here. This is going to be a really bad spot. But Hakeem gets caught in the blue. You might be able to still be able to beat Snow, though. Yeah, unfortunately not.
Wide there to prevent himself from bluing his teammate. I think there was just there was a communication between them. Snow was like, okay, I'll go wide here. You just go tight, secure that first. But Hakeem getting caught in that blast because he was predicting Snow to stay on that ramp.
Definitely, and I feel like at that point, I think Hakeem just didn't respect the amount of space he had between him and Snow. If he had waited maybe a little bit, things might have been different. I'm not entirely sure. I feel like trying to slow down the pace, try to take it a little bit, slower than he did. I think he would have been fine.
He was taking really good lines on the ramp there, but in that case, the blue was, Snow was kind of close to him at that point, so if you're Hakeem there, like you said, respect the distance a little bit. But still, nonetheless, not big enough of a race for IF there. It was a fairly neutral race. So still favoring Gun in this scenario, and it's going to be a 50, 60, 70, 72-point lead now for Gun. So something's got to give for IF. They need now like a top 4-9 or a top 3-5-9 if they want to keep themselves in it.
I'd say it's about that time to really start considering maybe trying to all run these last two races to see if you can't make some magic happen.
Yeah, at this point, it's going to take a miracle for IF to even get anything out of this match. Even keeping it close, it's going to take a miracle. So I think we're going to be looking at a very comfortable Gun win here. But we'll see. Mario Kart is full of surprises, and we'll see if another surprise is in store for us.
And it all starts here on
race 11 if you're IF.
I think you have to. I don't think there's much of a choice.
GCM Mario Circuit comes out here. We may just see that all run coming out from IF.
Especially on a track like this. Like, this track is not that bad for all running, to be honest.
No. There's a lot of catch-up potential. Of course, dodging in this track can be pretty powerful. If you dodge up and take the grass cut, it is powerful. But as well, it's a catch-up track. If you're in 5-6 and you have shrooms, you're going to be able to get all the way up to first. So it makes it sort of that, it makes it an even trade-off, or as even of a trade-off as possible. But we'll see.
That's it. And Knack to be able to get that early hit on Thomas, so that sends Thomas to the back. And sitting in 8th place with a star right now, so he's probably going to maybe look to hold on to this to see if maybe Sasa can pull it early on. And if that happens, then, maybe they might actually try and do what they did on TF, early shock followed by a potential second shock as well.
Yeah, I also forgot to mention, there's only one real spot to dodge up and use shock here. First set. Other than that, shocks are not that beneficial, so it'll give IF some shock prediction potential as well, in case that shock comes in there.
Definitely. Hakeem, unfortunately, having to lose his star right there, changed to a POW, so he has a POW in 4th, 5th right now. Use it here. Maybe target POW's Nico just a little bit.
And Nico trying desperately to pass that TC off. He got past the TC off after the POW, but he is going to fall down to 8th now. Gun still, I think it's all on Thomas now.
Thomas in the mag. If he can really get Dan there, this is going to be absolutely brutal for IF. Dan has to respect it and let him go on the first. Goes for a green, just barely misses him, gets the back on Dan. And it looks like he might even be able to really keep this first. Dodges the POW, and I think the rest is just smooth sailing for Thomas.
Game of inches. That green snipe attempt was really close to connecting from Dan, but then he ends up eating a back green to the face right after. It could have been a completely different story had that connected. But still going to be a 1-3-4 for Gun nonetheless, so maybe the snipe wasn't going to do too much. We saw a lot of Gun sneaking those top spots at the very end. It is a track in which you can cheese spots at the very end. And we saw that right there, and that's going to put the nail in the coffin for match 1.
Yeah. Just unfortunate turn of events for IF happening in that race, and then the bagger getting the top spot out of all of them. I don't know. Maybe Dermo's the frontal presence they need.
Maybe we could see a bagging change from them. Maybe Dermo start to run, and then
maybe they send Barry the bag. I don't know.
No, he can't send Barry back. He's been their best runner. No way.
Yeah, but Dermo got second, baby.
Maybe Trashy can come in here and sub in, even though Trashy's not as good of a bagger on paper as Dermo. I'd say it's definitely possible. It's definitely something that they could look at because their running presence has been waning as the matches progressed. Like we've seen them run a couple times in the beginning, but then GP2 and 3, it was almost like they were nowhere to be found.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. You don't need to be a great bagger to pull in 9th. That's all I'm saying.
Certainly. We are going to see a DK Mountain to close out this GP. IF are pretty much going to play this for pride unless there are some penalties we don't know about. And in this
they're gonna have to really get their rods out if they're gonna fish for enough penalties to win this one.
Yep. It's like, well, you can't really fish for penalties here unless you go super wide as a bagger's in a star. Like he's on the leftmost box. You just intentionally drive into the bagger there. But then, of course, you get penalized if the referees deem you to be fishing. So we'll see.
All I'm saying. Dermo in first. I don't know.
All right, there you go, Dermo.
The man.
That's what they need. Dermo running.
That's it. Dermo's in first. You see this? I don't know.
We'll see how well Dermo can maintain his spot here.
There's a POW coming in though. Oh, and that's gonna send Thomas. Ooh, just barely evades that. I thought he was going right into the wall. Sasa building up, going in first.
Oh my God. The baggers are showing out here.
Oh, the baggers are out in full force.
Of course, we saw Dermo getting target powered, a little unfortunate for him, but Sasa occupying first. This is going to be a hell of a sight to see if Sasa can end up sneaking that first in the end.
Oh, there's a blue coming for Sasa. Sasa's going to be getting blued.
Sasa, slow down. Let Dara get blued. Slow down, now. Looks like it's...
Wait, she's going, wait. Oh, no.
Oh.
And it catches Thomas, too.
That's unfortunate for Sasa. Sasa had her one moment of fame in the running.
All I'm saying is probably why Sasa bags. She's probably just a blue magnet.
We are going to see those greens really screwing up a couple players there. I couldn't see who ended up getting hit by the green as we switched over.
I don't know, but all I'm seeing right now is Thomas is a bill in 6th. So
that's... Yeah, he's in a very comfortable spot here. We'll see who has the shock in the end if anybody does. We're going to see Hakeem slowing down. Could be a sign IF has it. Yep, IF just getting Daru out of the cannon there. Dan and Nact coming up the rear.
Yeah, but Thomas dodged in the cannon too, so he still has that bill in 5th.
Yeah, you just gotta wait until after the cut here, though, to use the bill.
Yeah, we definitely swap over to Thomas's POV right here.
Yes, let's see it.
I want to see what he does here. He's gonna be so free. Let's go, Thomas!
Yeah,
top gear for Gun. I don't know. Game's too easy, I guess.
And yeah, Sasa and Dermo getting 5th and 6th respectively. Not a bad showing from both baggers in that race.
Weird flex by Hakeem, but I respect it. And that's going to be the first war.
Solid performance from Gun. Unfortunately, not the closest match we've seen. I did say IF were going to take match 1 by a little bit, but I also mentioned that the wins from Gun were going to be fairly dominant. So maybe if we do see an IF win, it could be in match 2 instead of match 1, but Gun dominant performance in match 1. And IF are in a bit of a hole here, but they will be hosting. So they will start off 1-3-5-7. So that could be one of the factors that could play into a potential comeback for IF.
Yeah, it's a plus 90 overall right there for Gun for match 1. So a very nice performance coming from the boys of the Baguette.
I gotta say, Hakeem and Thomas running pretty much most of those races. I mean, we've seen Nico up there in flashes, but for the most part, the story of that war, Thomas and Hakeem running most, if not every race, and solid runs from both of them, especially DDR, going all the way back to DDR. Hakeem and Thomas running top 2 the whole way, not making a single mistake in that one. So
definitely very strong running performances by both of them.
Certainly. And I mean, there were a couple of mistakes from Gun, but in the end, they didn't matter too much because IF made their fair share of mistakes. Well, I'm trying to note. There were a couple mistakes that Daru made, notably in DDR when I think he got like a high pillar, either that or he ended up getting batted off. Either one of those two.
I start thinking of the banana on RBC as well for Daru.
Yeah, completely forgot about that one. But nonetheless, it's still a comfortable win for Gun, and I think we're gonna leave it at that for now. We'll take a short break. We'll be coming back at you guys with match 2 of round 5 of Gauntlet between Gun and Infinite. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.